I've been accused in the past of being a bit of pauper and being very angry at the rich just because they're rich. I mean, the reality is, I've said this 100 times, I'm a socialist. I'm quite happy to call myself a socialist. I believe in socialist programs, you know, free education, free healthcare, pensions. And there's nothing that boils my blood quicker than when you get the dickheads who run Weatherspoons, for example, getting a ton of money to look after their staff from the government, and then they don't look after their staff. Or when massive companies get massive bailouts, when the banks got the bailout in 2008 when they fucked away all our money and then we paid for it and we got nothing back. I mean, the banks didn't then just turn around and say, look, all you people for the last few years with your mortgages, we're just going to write them off because the government have given us our massive bailout. The government have given us your money, so we're going to pass that on, you know, so there's no bad blood, no one suffers. Didn't happen though, did it? Enter an article from the London Economic. Queen gets government bailout after value of Crown estate slumps. Before I go into this, I want to note that there have been people who have been forced out onto the streets, that homelessness is the highest it's been in 10 years. In fact, since the Conservatives have taken over, it's consistently grown, as with child poverty in general. But the Queen, multi-millionaire, gets a fucking bailout. The value of the royal family's portfolio, which includes rent from shops in Regent Street, shopping centres and retail parks across Britain, has fallen by more than 500 million since the pandemic struck. But does she have to worry about where her next fucking meal comes from? The Queen will have her income topped up after the Crown Estate's revenue slumped during COVID-19 pandemics. The Treasury has confirmed. Well, that's fucking brilliant, as people have been forced out onto the streets. The value of the royal family's portfolio, which includes rent from shops in Regent Street, shopping centres and retail parks across Britain, has fallen by more than 500 million since the pandemic started. But the government said it would provide the estate with extra money to make up for any shortfalls in profits, guaranteed that the Queen's sovereign grant does not dip. I'm just thinking, there was a thing. There was a thing that some people got. What was it called? Furlough! That was it. That's ending and it's being replaced by something that's going to fuck over even more people. Brilliant. A Treasury spokesman told The Independent, in the event of a reduction in the Crown's estate portfolio, the sovereign grant is set at the same level as the previous year. The revenue for the Crown estate helps pay our own vital public services. So we're taxing the rich, you fucking wanker. Over the last 10 years, it has returned a total of 2.8 billion to the Exchequer. We've paid more than that to companies to help us with the pandemic who haven't been able to produce a single thing that we've paid them to do. So in the last 10 years, what the Crown estate has brought in has been less than what we've given Tory buddies to do fuck all in just a few months. Am I the only one who's seeing an issue here? Is it just me seeing this problem? We keep bailing out the rich and the wealthy when they don't need it, while we're spitting on people who actually need fucking help. If you wanted to see a better income, stop giving money to fuckknuckles who can't get the job done. This test and trace bullshit that is not being done by the NHS should stop being given to private companies because they can't fucking do it. Am I the only one who sees this issue? Am I the only one who sees a problem here? Bailing out someone who will never miss a meal, who comes from incredibly wealthy families. None of them will miss a meal by choice. And by that I mean they don't have to worry, am I going to have the heating on this winter or am I going to feed myself? That thought never comes into their heads. But we'll keep giving them money. Oh, what's this? A few extra homeless people? Nah, don't reel. Remember that report that came out a few years ago by the UN? The predominant thing, the underlying tone of homelessness in the UK is that people in Westminster just don't fucking think it's a thing. I think it's long past time we take accountability to who we are sending to Parliament.